Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Esteemed Gentleman podcast for Wednesday, March 24th. I am your host, Scott Labrie. Joined alongside me, as always, we have Uncle T-Bag, Tyler Sund.
What's dangling, boys?
What's dangling? That's going to be your new catchphrase. Put that on a shirt.
Yeah, I will. Write that down right now.
And we have all day Eric DeShane with us as well.
Hello.
What's up, boy?
Hello.
Oh,
And today it is Eric's day. Eric, what are we talking about?
Well, figured I'd talk about disappointment. So, as mostly you guys know, my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies of all time is Pacific Rim. So,
yes.
I love the movie, how it came out, the whole heart, everything involved with that movie. I love. So when a sequel was announced a few years later called Pacific Rim Uprising, I was stoked for it. I couldn't wait. That the cast had John Boyega, had some of the original cast came back, and some new people. I was like, oh sweet, this looks awesome. Came out and it's just a shit movie. Just terrible. Pays no respect to the original. It's terrible pacing, terrible plot. It's just bad all around. For a movie that should just be about fun action stuff, it's even worse now. And then not a few weeks ago, they released another sequel series to this called Pacific Rim: The Black, which is an animated sequel series that's released on Netflix. And I watched that yesterday as well. I binge watched all 7 episodes yesterday afternoon, and that too, again, it's good at some points, but again, it's disappointingly bad. I'm not too impressed with it either. Some parts of it I liked, because one thing with the giant robots called Jaegers in the show, it takes 2 pilots to operate them. They have to combine their minds, called the drift, in order for to operate these machines. So it involves combining your mind, seeing your memories, your past, everything else with that kind of become connected to operate it, right? So they play with memory alterations with the series. It's great for that, but as far the protagonists in that series suck, the action in the series sucks, the animations subpar at best.
Oh man,
it's I was looking forward to this, so heart kind of sank, and I'm a little upset by that. So yeah, and I was just wondering what else that you guys dealt with. I was looking forward to. You couldn't wait to see it or do it, and just go the opposite way.
Do we want to I know we all have a list. Do we want to just kind of go?
Oh yeah,
one each, and then kind of go round table, or do our whole list, or okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked ad nauseum about how disappointing the Star Wars sequel series and the Hobbit series are, but I'm not going to talk about those today. But I am going to talk about one that is fairly recent, and I think everybody who's seen it agrees with me, and that is the final season of Game of Thrones.
That was on my list too as well.
You have one of the greatest TV shows of all time. You pretty much can recommend it to everybody, and they're going to enjoy it, I would think, unless they're just not into
anything
violence and stuff like that, I guess.
Still, I know a lot of people who weren't into fantasy really into that show too. It brought a lot of people from different spectrums of fan bases into it. It was a great show for that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and they just fumbled it at the end.
They had the ball in the end zone, put it 100 feet to it, and they fumbled it and wrecked the whole freaking thing.
They just forgot about all the character development throughout the whole entire show. The final battle that it's all been leading up to with the White Walkers and the battle for Winterfell, and it's just I was watching it on Crave, and the fucking show was so dark. It was just so artifacted, and did not help at all. It was wow, this just looks like garbage on here. Should have went over to my parents' house and watched it on their satellite, I guess, or something like that. But
I saw it on satellite. Didn't make much of a difference.
Yeah, but even that, it was just this is it. That's it was just it went from like I said, one of the greatest shows of all time to now. I can't recommend that to anybody. It's watch 8 whole seasons to be disappointed at the end. I don't know.
I'm with you on that, because it was in the the meta. Like it was part of our society for years. Everyone
Mhm.
talked about it because everyone was watching it, and just to screw it up so bad that no one wants to watch it, no one wants to talk about
Exactly.
it. It's
Nobody talks
dead.
about it anymore.
It's like just that's how bad you screwed that up. It's unimaginable. Like how did you screw that up so bad?
That's the funny thing too. Like they had a fucking retardedly large budget. They had more time to work on it, and I'm pretty sure nobody would have objected to more seasons to flesh it out more. Because I mean, the way it ended, whatever. If that's the way the author had intended for it to end, great. But I mean, it was so rushed, and you're like, I'm shaking my head, like, okay, now she's killing everybody. Where the fuck did that come from?
I know.
Like now, so now she's like her dad. Okay, maybe you could have fleshed that out a little bit more and could have gave more indication that she was, you know, still batshit crazy, like as part of the bloodline. Like I don't, I agree completely. It was just, I don't know. I guess I watched it after. I just remember hearing everybody at work come in and being like, "Oh, did you watch the battle episode last night?" Yeah, I couldn't see anything. Like I turned the brightness of my TV up and it was driving me nuts. And everybody said the same thing. The battle scene was like, and then I watched it, and I don't know if they must have updated it or they must have done something I thought it looked pretty good, but how this battle that they've been like dreading for years that's coming, like this army that's going to take over the world, and it all ends in one battle, like one night.
Yep.
Like. Wouldn't it go on a little bit longer than that? Because you got I don't know. And some of the choices with the characters, holy man, like that doesn't make any sense. I wonder if George R. R. Martin was just like sitting there pulling what Harry had left out of his head, like, what are you doing?
Well, that's the thing. It's like I wonder if maybe that it was the right the ending, and now he's just like crossing it out. He's like, oh,
right?
Oh, this doesn't work.
They took his manuscript and pulled entire clumps out of it. We'll take this out, we'll take this out, and we'll take this out, and we'll just leave all this raw garbage and throw it at the screen.
They destroyed one of the greatest shows of all time. Or some shitty X-Men movies, because that's like one of the reasons why it was rushed, is because all the fucking actors were like, we're gonna be movie stars now, we got all these other commitments and stuff like that, so now like now they have to make time for one of the greatest shows of all time. So you guys couldn't just fucking commit for like 2 more seasons. No, you have to fucking be in shitty ass Dark Phoenix and fucking
look where that got you,
fucking other garbage. And
exactly. Now look where you are. Look where you are, because you decided to leave the best show in the world to play shitty characters nobody gives a shit about.
Fox got bought out and you're never coming back now.
That's right. Your career's ruined. You should have just stuck to the original script. I agree with you, Scott. That was very disappointing.
Yes.
That was disappointing.
Yeah,
brutal.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah. It's bad. Okay, so are we gonna? Well, I guess. I have a lot of personal disappointments. Oh, like chapters among chapters of personal disappointments. But if we're gonna stick to TV shows or movies, I guess I like, as you know from the last episode, I was a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, and I was so excited that they were making a Terminator movie set in the future with John Connor fighting against the Skynet and the robots. I'm like, this is gonna be great. So Terminator Salvation came out. I went to the theater. I can't remember who I was with. I just remembered it was just a fucking travesty, this whole movie. I'm like, what is this? The effects, yeah, they were fine, I guess, like with the flying ships and the T-100s and whatever. But like the hybrid, half human, half Terminator garbage, and like when Arnold came out at the end and he was all CGI'd, I got up and I walked out of the theater. I'm like, this is the worst animation I have ever seen in my entire fucking life. This is the stupidest movie I have ever seen in my life. But since that was so short, another movie, kind of the same way. I was a huge Die Hard fan, and I think I talked a little bit about that too. That I was a huge Die Hard fan. All the movies, even Live Free or Die Hard was pretty good. A Good Day to Die Hard, which sounds like a bad porno, came out, where Bruce Willis has a son who works for the CIA, and he's in Moscow, and that's about all I remember from the plot line. That's all I remember. And he's going there to see his son, and like all this action just goes off for absolutely no reason, and the entire city of Moscow is getting blown up every 2 minutes, and John McClane is just saying "fuck," "shit," "fuck," like through the whole thing, and it's just nonsensical. And he's driving this military truck over these little Russian cars, and he's like, "Get out of the way!" It's like, dude, you are on meth or something. What are you doing? Like, stop the truck. I don't even know where he's going. And none of it made any sense. And I actually fell asleep. And I was so frustrated, I must have just passed out. I don't know what happened.
Mhm.
I'm like, this is so bad. It was so bad.
Mm.
Yeah.
I never
And
did watch
then-
that one because I was like, this one looks terrible. I want nothing to do with it. So
Oh, it was all like the action was nonstop, but it was nonsensical. There was just absolutely. And Jai Courtney White, I think, is the guy that was, or not Jai Courtney White, just Jai Courtney, I think his name is. He plays Bruce Willis's son, and
Mhm.
yeah, I think he's the guy that plays Boomerang in Suicide Squad. So that's the only like real big roles I think he's had to play. I honestly don't really follow him
like
too well.
goon roles, I think. If I
Yeah. Like you could tell that he was trying to do a good job, and Bruce Willis was just there to collect a paycheck.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you want me to say this? Okay, I'll say it. Oh, louder? Okay, I'll say this louder then." And that's it. That's his whole creative aspect he took with John McClane. Like, dude, man, you made this role. This is you. This is your character, man. Like, and you just, I don't know. I'm done talking about it.
Bruce Willis like seems to be like one of the biggest douchebags in Hollywood. Like,
I think he is.
I think he is. Yeah, that's one of the things. Like, it'd be cool to meet him. Like, I think he's a bit of a douche. Like, I don't think he's.
I honestly do think he is. Like he used to be kind of like a sarcastic kind of a douche, but kind of cool to be with back in the day. But now I think he's just such a stuck up, arrogant, egotistical kind of whatever. Like he wasn't even in the latest Expendables.
No.
Because he wanted like an insane amount of money to be in it. It's like, dude, like none of us are making this much money. Like what? How do you expect us to pay you this much? And he's like, well, I'm not doing it then. It's like, man, we're all friends. And then he's like, nope. So they wrote him out, and they said, oh, where's George? They're like, fuck that guy. I'm his replacement. I think because Kelsey Grammer took over his role for the third one. And they just totally shit on his character in that movie because they were so jaded with him. So yeah, I guess he's kind of a scumbag, and all of his movies have bombed ever since. And he's taken up these little roles now because I think he's desperate for money because he just burned all these bridges. I'm just jumping to conclusions, obviously.
Yeah, I saw like he's in like a movie with Dave Bautista or something that like just came out. I don't know if I forget what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was in Surrogates though. I thought that was a pretty decent movie.
That was. Yeah, Brett Ratner made that one. That's one of his better ones, I think. That was pretty good. Yeah, that's like right where he started to
tank.
Fade. Yeah, he tanked pretty hard after that one. I'm pretty sure it's that one. But yeah, Bruce Willis. Man, he was another one of my guys I follow to watch all of his movies. Hudson Hawk and Die Hard and Striking Distance. You guys probably don't even know what movies those are.
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen those. I know what those are. Come on, Tyler. Come on.
I know you probably do. But
yeah.
Great
Striking
movie.
Distance, man. Great movie. Yeah.
Great movie.
You made those up.
Yep. Googling for authenticity.
Yeah.
All right, so for me, I got one more here. So back, I can't remember if it came out. This came out 10 years ago, 2010. Robert Rodriguez produced a Predators movie, the same Predators. It came out. I loved that movie. It was really good, really good retelling of the Predator genre and those characters and everything else here. So, but unfortunately, with that, came out good reviews, decent reviews, made decent money, and then nothing for the last like 8 years, and then. Was it last year or 2018? They released The Predator, which was a newer version, a new update for that one. It came out, 2018.
Don't you do it.
The Predator?
Don't you do it.
Fucking awful.
You're awful.
Fuck you. It was terrible.
You just don't like Shane Black.
I'm having a hard time with him. I really am. I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Stuff he's written is really good. And looking into it and reading about this, it's not so much his fault with this movie. A lot of it was the studio kind of overcorrecting it and being kind of in his way. Because the way it sounds, he wanted to make a lot more of a different movie. But oh man, that movie was so fucking bad.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious. It's more of a comedy than an action movie.
I was wanting more of that. I was okay with that, but it's over the top in terms of the gore and the death. It's the pacing is terrible. The characters are fucking awful and stupid. And I hate that they get a kid involved for no freaking reason besides the fact they got a kid involved in an 1880.
Right.
And of course, like, oh, what were they thinking?
I did for Iron Man 3 and just toss a kid in there.
Stupid.
Oh, I'm like, I was looking forward to it. I saw it. I'm like, I didn't go see it in theaters. So I'm like, when it comes on Netflix, I'll watch it then. And I watched it a little while ago. I'm like, oh my God, why?
The best part was when Thomas Jane's character is in the camper. He's the one that has Tourette's.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, fuck me in the face with an aardvark. Man, the whole theater lost their minds and laughed. But that's the only stimulation that the audience felt.
Like,
for the
with
whole
him,
movie.
like the criminals and that, they were the only reason why I enjoyed it. Whatever I did.
Yeah.
Like, the little kid, the Jacob Tremblay, I'm like, this little shit, this little autistic but yet genius. It's like, okay, that's not how it works. Ignore that. But then
Predator fucking symbols and
Keegan-Michael Key, Thomas Jane, like Sterling Brown, all those guys, all those criminals, like, that was like, I was looking forward to seeing all that, like these renegade misfits fighting the Predator. No, it's not even that. It's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, they're basically on their way to get lobotomized or whatever, right? And then they're the ones that end up saving the planet.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of a neat twist, but
I was like, I can go with it, but then they all have like their deaths don't have no payoffs. It's just like hands and waves. I'm like, what the hell were they thinking? Just a waste.
Right.
But yeah, looking into it, like the studio had way more involvement with. It's not just Shane Black's fault. It's a lot more of the 20th Century Fox wanting certain things a certain way, and because the way it sounds, he had like a whole plan of bringing like what's the species they call the predator species, whatever they are, like bringing in like not just like the usual dogs in the first movie back in 2010, but like other creatures, other bioforms, other species from the Predator's world. He wanted to do that, and like, no, let's do this way. One Predator versus Predator again, and just bullshit like that.
Yeah, they're trying to just basically remake it.
Yeah, it's like, why? This stuff already exists. People know this character. Just make something good with it. They just keep fucking it up. So yeah, that's mine.
Okay, fine. I'll let you have that one.
Thank you, sir.
I can't speak to it.
No hate,
I've
Iron
never
Man.
seen any of the Predator movies, so
Scott.
Yeah, that's a disappointment all in itself.
We've talked about this a million times. I grew up in the
we all know.
90s with parents who didn't watch movies. Okay.
Yes.
Now you have new parents. Uncle Teabag, come on over. We'll watch movies. You can watch my Arnold movies.
Yeah. Please tell me you've never seen the original Conan movie, then, have you, Scott?
No.
Oh,
I've seen the new Conan movie.
That's a movie night movie.
Oh god.
What do you think of that movie, Tyler? Do you like the original Conan?
I have not seen Conan. That's the
Really?
only one I have not seen. I've seen Red Sonja.
Oh.
I've seen Conan the Destroyer, but I've not seen Conan the Barbarian.
What do you think of Conan the Destroyer?
That was all right, I guess.
Yeah, it's a sign of the times. It's 80s, but yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I guess moving on to my disappointing thing, and being a sports fan, disappointment comes with the territory. You can be disappointed any night of the week, depending on how your team does. But being a Toronto Raptors fan, we were on cloud 9 in 2019. We won the championship for the first time ever. I cried literal tears of joy. It was fucking amazing. And then, but the thing is like, there's this one thing just hanging over the little championship, and that was Kawhi Leonard was on. He was going to become a free agent in the offseason. But you're like, you know what? We just won the whole freaking thing. Of course he's going to stay with us because we're going to have a dynasty for like 2-3 years for sure. Nope. He leaves for Los Angeles.
I don't know. I remember seeing that too. I thought for sure, like, he's not going to stay.
He went to a fucking Blue Jays game, man. You don't go to a Blue Jays game unless you're going to fucking stay to Toronto. Like, come on. The Jays sucked at that point.
No, I saw that coming. He used the championship as a platform just to get more money, and like now you can go wherever the hell he wanted. So,
but the thing was, he would have made more money if he stayed in fucking Toronto because he wanted
out.
He wanted to go back home.
He wanted to go
a California
else.
kid.
Yeah,
and
yeah. It's exactly what I saw that coming.
He wanted to go be an X-Men character.
Yeah,
and failed miserably.
So that was incredibly disappointing. But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
The next season, Toronto Raptors. Hey, we have the best season yet. Somehow we're even better than last year in the regular season. We set a new franchise record. Coronavirus hits. Bam. NBA season postponed. Then comes back in the bubble. All right. Hey, we're second in the league. We're there's a decent chance we may get to the finals again this year. But guess what? Pascal Siakam, our best player. What the fuck, man? He didn't. We learned he hasn't touched a basketball in 2 months. What? It's your job, dude. Why haven't you been dribbling a ball? Who cares if you live in an apartment? Fuck your neighbors, dude. Dribble the damn basketball, dude. I don't know. Like,
This is your life, man.
exactly. You make $10 million a year, dribble the damn ball. And of course he sucks because he hasn't been touching a basketball in 2 months. And boom, we lose in the second round to Boston in Game 7. And yeah, if you played better, for sure, we would have made it to the finals. And then it stings even more because then you go like, if we had Kawhi Leonard, we would have won a fucking again. We knew it. We knew it. We would have won again. And then here comes the summer of 2020. Well, I guess more like September of 2020 is when the free agency happened. And we're like, you know what? We're going to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's not going to sign an extension. We're saving money for him. It's all going to be good. We lost Kawhi, but we got Giannis because Masai Ujiri, the president, he helped him move from, I forget where he's from, Kenya or Zimbabwe or something, to Greece. That helped him be able to get to like scholarships and stuff like that and be able to get it to NBA. He helped him get to the NBA. He owes us. And he signs an extension in Milwaukee. Why would you stay in Milwaukee? Milwaukee sucks. It's Wisconsin, for God's sakes.
Holy man.
And then to make things worse, we lose our 2 centers, Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka is like a fan favorite. And now the Raptors suck. They suck. They suck.
Gee. Man, you're acting how I felt when I was watching Terminator Salvation.
Oh man, it's so sad. It's like,
that's funny.
But you know what? There's a shed, a light of hope, and that's this summer. Kawhi Leonard is going to be a free agent again, and we can just hope that LA sucks again in the playoffs, and he's like, "Fuck this team, I'm out."
Going back to Toronto.
Yeah, we can maybe do that. Hopefully, fingers crossed, but you never know.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
There's mine.
Well, I don't really know the personal experience. I was when I was asked for it and I was supposed to prepare for it, I got a little passionate, so I don't know if I actually want to read it. But, well, it's pretty personal. I attempted to go to film school. I had wanted to go to Vancouver Film School, for example, and at this point, I was in my early 20s, still hadn't had a girlfriend yet, still a ripe young little virgin, and got my first girlfriend. And any guy that's listening to this knows what that's like when you get your first girlfriend. That's all you think about is your first girlfriend. So anyway, I was gonna go, and it was a real pain in the ass to get to go because I had no credit. And my parents didn't want to help me out with that. So my grandmother said, well, I can co-sign, but they didn't have good enough credit to co-sign for me to go. It was something ridiculous, like 34 grand back then, back in 2006 or whatever, or 5.
Wow.
Yeah, an insane amount of money. And she came up with the deposit to save me a spot to go there. And then they said that if I did like payments and stuff, and I was going to school and they would help me with government grants and stuff. They just wanted to get me into Vancouver. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll do it. So then I ended up getting a girlfriend at the time. And then she's like, oh, I don't want you to go. I'll miss you. You should stay here in this shitty little farm town of St. Paul. And I'm like, okay, I'll stay. And then a fucking month later, she leaves. Follow your dreams, folks. Don't listen to hoes. Follow your dreams. Or find yourself a wonderful woman who will support you in everything that you do. That's what you need to do. So that was very disappointing for me. So then, I guess later on, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give this another shot. But I'm not going to go to Vancouver Film School because I don't have that kind of money and I don't want to be in debt for the rest of my life. So I attempted to go to Red Deer College. They offered a film program there, but as a prerequisite, you have to do like a technical theater aspect thing. You can either do a year of acting on stage, or you can do like props and stage construction and lighting and whatever else, right? So you basically do like the technical aspect of it for the first year, and then you get into the film program after. So I was like, wow, I'm a natural born actor. I can do this. This is easy. I did like 3 plays in high school. I can do this. This is easy, right? So stupid me. I decided, yeah, I'm going to do the acting thing. So they said, okay, here's 3 scripts that we're going to send you. Pick 2 of them of your choice. But this one you have to do for us. No, sorry. you had to do one that they chose, and then you pick one of your choice to do, and then you have to do one of your own personal choice. It can be anything. It can be a monologue from a TV show, from a movie, whatever. So anyway, and you also have to sing a song. It can't be a top 40 pop song. It can't be a country song. It can't be a rock song. It has to be a Broadway musical type song. It has to be something like that to really showcase the potential of your voice. So I was like, well, okay, well, I guess I'll try that. So I remembered that I had ordered the soundtrack for Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and the theme song Snake Eater performed by a female artist. And I'm like, oh, that's got like James Bondy kind of music. That must be like a musical. Okay, I'll do that one, right? I knew the words right down to a T. I will never recite this because it ended up being the most embarrassing moment of my entire fucking life. So anyway, I get to Red Deer. My mother decides to come with me. I love my mom. She came with me. So I got there, I had my scripts, and there was close to probably 25, 30 people. I know we're going to go over half an hour for this. I'm sorry, you guys.
No, it's fine.
But anyway, so we got there, and I'm looking at these guys and all these artsy-fartsy individuals, and they're like doing like these weird sounds with their throats, and they're walking around like basically like fanning their faces, like they're all sweaty and super nervous. I'm like, what a bunch of nerds, man. Like, look at these guys. I'm acting like I'm an accomplished actor already, super cocky. I have no issue. I mean, I guess I had some self-confidence. So then, like, okay, so these three judges came, 2 ladies and a guy. Like, okay, everybody to the auditorium, right this way. So then I follow them. We all go into this room, and we're all standing in a circle. It's like, okay, so what we're going to do for our first little warm-up is that we're going to see how you guys work as a group and blah, blah, blah. We're going to play some music, and we want you guys to emulate the emotions that you're feeling with the music and just kind of match the music. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I'm like, okay, so I get to, like, just dance around and listen to music and stuff. So then they start playing with this violin music, and people, like, literally start crying, and tears are coming out of their eyes, and they're like touching themselves. And I'm like looking, I'm standing there with papers in my hand, and everybody's just like contorting and rolling around and being weird. I'm like, they're like, oh, Tyler, you're not feeling anything? And I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to understand what's happening. Like, I don't know what this is. Like, this is really strange to me. So I'm like trying to copy. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing. And I'm like, okay. So I just closed my eyes and just like waited for it to be over. So then whatever, we did that for about 15 minutes. And then they asked us who we are and where we're from, blah, blah, blah. So then the audition started. And then by the time it got to be my turn, I went up to the door, and I'm sitting outside the door, and I'm listening. And this guy's doing a performance. He's doing like the Mozart one. I picked the same one. And he's like being loud and obnoxious. Then he starts singing. But they shut his music off after about 20 seconds. Like, whatever song he was singing, I'm like, oh, okay, good. They're just going to listen to a snippet. This will be fine. So then it was my turn to go in there. And they're like, okay, Tyler, I guess do your first one. So I did the Mozart one, and I fucked up my lines about 2 or 3 times. At this point, I was so rattled from the initial warm up, like because it was just like, this is a whole nother level. Like, theater and acting for film and television are 2 completely different things. Like, it's wild, man. So I kind of fucked up a little bit on that one. I'm like, okay, I'll get it in the next one. So then I had to do, it's been so long, I can't remember what the other one was. And I did that one okay. And then the third one, I decided I was going to do a monologue of Marv from Sin City, because all of it is just monologue, him talking, and I was born at a long time, and this and that, blah blah blah. And then so when it was time to start, I forgot every single line that I had memorized. I forgot everything. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm drawing a complete blank. And they're like, oh, they're like looking at each other like it never happened before. And I'm like, I fucked this so bad. And then my heart just sank, and I felt sick to my stomach. I'm like, fuck, man, I was so sure of myself. And they're like, well, why don't you go get your thing and read it to us anyway? I'm like, okay. So I grabbed it. I'm like, okay, once I start reading it, I'll remember. And then so then I started reading it, and then I realized that I just read it right from the book. I didn't even act it out or nothing. I just read it. So that was so embarrassing. Okay. I'm like, well, here comes the song. Well, at least this will be over quickly. I'll fuck this up and it'll be over. The song was 5.5 minutes, and they made me sing the whole freaking song. And the guy stood up and he was dancing. He was like doing this weird jig thing too, like listening to the whole music. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. So then once I was done singing, they were like, come take a seat, Tyler. So I sat with them. They're like, have you ever considered getting into music? I'm like, get fucked. Like, what are you guys talking about? Are you kidding me? And they're like, yeah, because I don't, have you done any acting before? Have you done any theater work, volunteer work, like participated in any kind of school plays or anything? And I'm like, you're making me sound This is my first day, and I knew I was better than that. That was probably the most embarrassing, disappointing day of my life. The whole way home, 4-hour drive home. I'm like, I fucked it up. My mom's like, oh, I'm sure they'll get. I'm like, Mom, no, you don't understand. I fucked this up so bad. And that's like the first time I almost cried. Like I almost like broke down. I was so upset with myself. Yeah, I almost gave up on the whole acting, everything at that point, man. I was just like, oh, I'm such an idiot.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
yeah.
that was disappointing.
Fuck those Broadway guys. Those guys like that. Screw
Right?
them.
Yeah. Don't go in there.
Stick up their ass. Screw them.
But you couldn't go. You didn't want to go back and like do like stage production or anything like that. You were just like.
I thought about it, and then I got into where I was working at the time. I ended up spending 5 or 6 years working, and then I just kind of got sucked into this stupid automotive industry, and I'm still here. And it's like, yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like the Adam Savage or whatever you're talking about there. When you fail, you got to keep going.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't do what I did, everybody. Keep trying.
And now you got a podcast.
Oh, I'm on a podcast. Things are looking up.
Is it back to me now, or
Well, I
Where?
mean that's good enough. I think there.
I
Right?
think we're probably good.
That's good enough. Yeah.
We're at half an hour.
Mhm.
There you go. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good one. I liked good discussion there, guys. I enjoyed that.
Mhm.
And if you enjoyed that, hit the like button here on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit the bell. Apparently that does something, I guess. Apparently it matters. in the eyes of YouTube, it matters. So do that as well. Subscribe to us over on your podcast app of choice, whether that's Apple, Google, Spotify, whatever you're listening to. And yeah, like us on Facebook as well. If you have any questions for Ask Us Anything, you can always message us for that. And yeah, we're going to be back here tomorrow. We're going to be talking about sports. Oh yeah. We'll see you then.
See you guys.